to the South next. Shout out to I'm going to keep saying it, boys. Shout out to all the dads watching on the big screens. Shout out to the MILFs. Let them use the living room in the recliner. Gotta love it. Region 3, Baylor Bears. Anybody beating them in round 1? Not a
No.
shot.
No.
No. We'll mention, though. Sean's not here. This joke would have worked phenomenally. I was waiting for this joke. The hairline on the coach of the Baylor Bears is 10 times worse than Sean's. But he's also a big striped tie guy. I love to see it. They're a much better team. We're moving on.
I do, but actually, before we go on real quick, just something on Baylor that I find very, very interesting. Do you know that Baylor was the number 1 3-point percentage shooting team in college this year?
Yes.
Hitting 41.8%. Well, fun fact about that, since 1987, only 6 teams have won the title and shot less than 35% from 3.
Ooh, I like that. I like that. Do we know what Gonzaga shoots?
I can tell you because I have it pulled up. Just let me find them.
I love Baylor. When Maceo Teague hit 11 to 12 threes the other night, I was like, oh boy, this team is legit. Jared Butler. Go ahead.
Gonzaga, 36.5%.
Oh, they're above the threshold.
They're over it.
I love it.
There's some teams down there, not above the threshold.
Oh boy.
Maybe a little team that I'm a big fan of, Texas Tech.
No.
Not above it. Arkansas, not above it.
Arkansas just launches them though.
Oklahoma State.
Bama's above it, right?
I'm looking for Bama right now. Oklahoma State, though, a team that we like, not above it.
Oh.
Let's see. Alabama. You keep talking. I'll keep looking.
Why don't you just go to the top and press sort? What's your deal?
That's a good idea.
What's your deal? Have you never used this before?
Alabama is barely above it at 35.2%.
We love it. We love to see it in my Final Four. We love to see it. Moving on, 8 versus 9. Our least favorite team, UNC Tar Heels, going against Wisconsin.
Least favorite team. 100% the best game of the round of 64, though.
Easily. Actually, I don't know. There's another game in this bracket I do love, and I can't wait to watch. We'll get into it because we're on opposite sides. Going against Wisconsin Badgers. UNC, they are so conceited that they named a color blue after themselves. Tar Heel blue. I hate it. Hate to see it. Wisconsin, red and white. Very boring. Coach UNC's wearing the same suit for 20 years. Wisconsin's coach, very funny you made us. This may be the conference of the Sean receding hairline. This guy always wears a red tie. His first name is Greg. Greg Gard. Don't like that.
Great name.
I don't like that at all.
Don't like it.
I don't like either the first or the last name.
It's a great name. Double G's.
Double G's never work out. GG's. That's what that means.
He's going to be
GG's,
saying
you're out of here.
GG's to North Carolina after he loses.
That's what I'm saying. I just lost where I was. Here we're back. UNC, one of the best offensive rebounds in the country. And Wisconsin struggles against good teams. They did it all year. You know, they may have beaten good teams, but they didn't do it cleanly, I should say. You know what I mean? If that makes sense to you guys. Let's kick it to Morgan. Morgan, tell me who.
Yeah,
tell me why.
I hate this. I hate it more than anything. I never want to ever say these words ever again. And I hopefully only have to say it for 1 week because they're going to get spanked by Baylor in the round of 32. But UNC is going to win this game. Every statistic favors UNC on the offensive side. Defense is pretty even, but they do have a significant advantage in the offensive boards. UNC is the best offensive rebounding team in the country. Big difference here. What does Wisconsin not have that UNC has? Armando Bacot. Plain and simple. You have a very good big man down there. And that's going to go a long way in the tournament. A long way to the round of 32, but a long way in this one game at least.
Greggy,
Okay.
what do you got?
I have been tossed up with this ever since I saw that it was the matchup. Went back and forth a couple times, but I think I've made up my mind, and I'm going to go with Wisconsin.
Okay.
I'm rooting for you. I truly am.
We both are, because we're both on
I don't want
UNC.
to see you. I
And
hate UNC.
we hate
We're
Yeah,
Duke boys.
yeah, I know. Well, reason being, UNC doesn't shoot the three well, not at all. Um, sure, they have the interior presence to where they can create a few extra possessions for themselves, but Wisconsin has the veteran presence on the court. They have five guys that have started over 100 games in their career. Um, they've been to the tournament every year that these guys have been there, and without fault, they win these games. They win these games that they need to. Sure, they make games a lot tighter than they need to be. Going back to that Penn State Wisconsin game last week,
oh,
that was a weird one. That was a real weird one.
they play down.
But yeah, both us. But I think Wisconsin, with that upperclassman presence, being there multiple years in a row, they know what this feels like. To where UNC does not have that. There's too much turnover in that program. To where these young guys, they don't know what it feels like. Maybe next year, with the year's experience, they make a presence. But
Right.
I don't think it's this time.
It's going to take me a couple days. I may sway back that way by the time it starts. But for now, I'm on UNC. I don't hate it. Like you said, excuse me. First off, this is one of the two matchups. Wisconsin shouldn't be a 9 seed. They really shouldn't.
No.
The team we're going to talk about next, they should probably be in that spot. But it doesn't make any sense to me. It's just one of those things that, like, hey, kind of need people to tune in. Got to sell some advertising thing, maybe. I don't know. They were slipping towards the end of the year. Lost a couple of games they needed to win, but not so bad. They fall down to a 9 seed. But things happen. That's the way the cookie crumbled. So for sure, it's gonna be a great game. I can tell you that to be a fact. Now, what I waited for the last 2 weeks now. Colin Gillespie injury was 2 weeks ago. Where Nova would line, and I couldn't be more excited. The fact that I've already placed the bet. Number 5, Villanova Wildcats going against the number 12 Winthrop Golden Eagles. I'll tell you right now, before I go into who's wearing what colors are who, I'm taking Winthrop. I'm not even looking back. Winthrop lost one game this year. They never get respected. It's a good team. They can score. Nova's missing their leader. They're missing their best player. Listen, now I'll get into it. Nova's got a great coach. He does. He wears a shit suit. Typical Philly guy had no class.
Oh, I don't know about that. My man Jay Wright has been in featured articles in GQ for how he dresses.
Yeah. Sure,
Ooh.
he had.
Ooh.
Anyway,
He's lost a step since he was at Hofstra.
That's a bold statement.
That's a big fact. He learned how to dress in New York. Had to come to Philly just to not remember what it's like. Anyway, the Winthrop coach. I will say this. I looked through 5 pages of Google images on this guy. Not one picture did he have his buttons unbuttoned. On his suit, he always keeps the top button buttoned like he's ready. Like he's ready for a nice photo shoot, looking this way, looking that way for GQ, unlike Jay Wright. I love it. Nova's in shambles. This is one of the 2 teams I wanted Nova to match up with in that 12 spot, 13 spot, wherever it was. Winthrop is the top 30 in total points per game. They're a top 20 team in second chance points. They're a big team, efficient, love it. It's an easy upset for me. Do either one of you guys take a Nova?
It pains me so much for you to disrespect my Villanova team and Jay Wright, who has a case as one of the best, if not the best coach in the country. That being said, I'm taking Winthrop also. It makes too much sense. I'm not that stupid. Everything leans Winthrop, Villanova. I love them to death. They're beat up. They're injured. It's just not the year. It's not their year for them this season. With COVID, with everything that happened, it didn't work out for him. Nova's going to get dominated down low by bigger guys, plain and simple. Winthrop gets 11.2 offensive rebounds a game. Nova gets 7 defensive rebounds. Winthrop averages almost 4 more than Nova does per game. This is an upset for me as well. I hate to say it. This bracket, this region is my least favorite region by far because I have to watch UNC win and Nova lose right next to each other on the bracket. I hate it. The only thing that could salvage it is if Duke was somehow in it, and they're not.
They don't deserve to be in it. Let's be real.
Fuck this bracket. I don't care about the South. Nova's going to lose. I'm upset about it.
Oh boy. I just got word from Greg. I know he's still here. I just got your text message. He is going to be lost in the mix of some of these minutes. We don't know when. We don't know why. So Morgan, keep an eye on him while I keep an eye on the notes. Let's move on. Number 4, Purdue. The Boilermakers. Big Union guys. Going against North Texas. The Mean Green North Texas. First off, I love the name. What color does Purdue wear? Black and white. Gold. One of the best home courts in college basketball. Shame there's no fans there. Going against, guess who? The fucking Mean Green. They wear green. That's it. They only wear one color. They're technically Falcons. Is their team name? They wear mean green on their jerseys.
It's weird. I've never seen a green Falcon before.
That's what I'm saying. One thing I know to be true in this life: death, taxes, Matt Painter. I'm taking Purdue. I'm not looking back. The coach of North Texas, he's got a green tie game so strong the leprechaun would be put to shame. North Texas never gone past the opening round. With that, I'm taking Purdue, not looking back. Morgan. I should go to Greg because he might die.
Yeah, I'm on Purdue as well. Yeah, North Texas, they won the conference, but even doing so, tight games all throughout the year. They pride themselves on their defense. They don't score very much, as is the over-under is 125. Purdue has a good defense in and of itself. I don't really see North Texas putting up more than 55 points in this game.
Fair. Morgan, you're on Purdue, right?
I'm on Purdue.
Yeah.
Simply put, the defensive end. Rebounding. Purdue dominates the rebounding.
I don't remember the guy's first name, but Edie, the freshman, he's like 7'4", 145 pounds, soaking wet.
Like that.
Gotta love him. He's from a foreign land somewhere in Europe.
Might be a relative of Manute Bol, possibly.
No, he's definitely not, because he's somewhere from Eastern Europea. European. I was going to say European and Europe got mixed up. Listen, bro, it's 2:09. I've been writing these notes since 6 p.m. I'm ready to go. Let's move on to my favorite game. Hopefully Greg's still here for that. The game of 64. There's no better game. I promise you. Number 6, Texas Tech going against number 11, Utah State. My Aggies, my favorite team to watch. Going against the Red Raiders. Chris Beard is an angry little man. Very, very angry all the time. Very passionate. Loves his team. Will do anything for him. Craig Smith, one of my favorite coaches. Knows how to get the team to play together. They're one of the biggest teams in the country, but he wears what his paycheck allows. If he can't afford the suit that night for the rental, he wears a jumpsuit. No worries. I smell an upset coming. I know Morgan hates this pick, so I'll start with him and then I'll tell him why he's wrong.
Yeah, so since I'm the big stat guy and everything, yada yada yada, I'm looking at my statistics here, and I'm now 50-50 on each side. I love Texas Tech. Texas Tech, for me, as of a week ago, was a big-time Final Four pick for me, and I thought could get to the title game. I still do believe that they could potentially, but as this is not a good matchup. Not in the slightest bit. And everything statistically speaking, and when I say everything, I mean everything. Statistically speaking, is screaming Utah State. More scoring margin, assists per game, total rebounds. It's a significant number. The only thing really that Texas Tech has going for them is their turnover percentage is better. But defensively. Utah State's a better team. Um, right this minute, I'm going to lean Texas Tech because I ride with them right now. However, that could flip at literally any second.
Greg,
I can be
speak to me.
persuaded really quick. I am a battleground state when it comes to this. You can flip me red or you can flip me blue. I don't know which way we're going yet.
I got you. Greg, speak to me. What do you got for me?
All right, Billy, you're gonna love it. I'm on Utah State.
Yes! You
Oh,
were
Utah
convinced
State.
the other night, weren't you?
I I was about to get to that. That watching them play Colorado State, that did it for me. You know, I was questionable on Utah State. I've seen some really good games by them. I've seen some poor outings by them. They are a good team that I think are getting right at the right time. Uh, I think it's a good matchup for them, not a great matchup. Texas Tech, very good team. I think it's a worse matchup for them than it is for Utah State. Uh, they want to have the ball in Mac McClung's hand, who seemingly of late cannot hit a three. He cannot. He's got like the yips. He can't hit. He's been getting all of his points at the foul line, which means he's been driving to the hoop. And you know what happens when you drive to the hoop against Kita?
You get sent back.
It's a block party. Uh,
Yep.
it, watching him the other night confirmed to me that he's just otherworldly
He's the
inside the
best.
paint.
I've been saying it for months, bro. He's the best player nobody knows.
You absolutely have. I'll give you all the credit in the world for that. I'm going to take Utah State, Texas Tech, early exit.
I love it. I love it. And Morgan, we talked about it. I didn't hate your Texas Tech to the Final Four when they were on the 5 line and when they were on the 4 line, but they were losing some games. They looked pretty bad. And listen, Utah State was the same team that beat San Diego State last year to break the undefeated streak of San Diego State, who was gonna be a 1 seed last year. They you know who they lost last year? Utah State. They lost Sam Merrill, their starting 4-year point guard. They didn't skip a beat. They they shoot very well. They make their free throws. Nemes Keita has more blocks than 250 teams in the NCAA. It's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
He's agile. He's one of the best passers in college basketball at 7 feet tall. He's gonna have a nice long career in the NBA once he puts the show on for Texas Tech.
Yeah, he reminds me of a smaller, like Chris Boucher.
I Yes, but I think he's more skilled in the pass.
He, I agree, and they have different.
On the defensive end, absolute.
Exactly. That's what I'm
Absolute.
talking about in the defensive end. Offensive is completely different.
Yep. Like you broke it down perfectly where you said it's a worse matchup for Texas Tech than it is for Utah State. Utah State is used to playing teams that are nitty and gritty and play defense. That's what the Mountain West is. Like if you don't belong in the Mountain West if you don't play defense.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's no ifs ands or buts about it. This game plays right into Utah State, and it's going to be a damn shame when 90% of people have no idea who Utah State is, and everybody loses their bracket because of this. Because Utah State, not only great defensive team, but they're the tallest team in the country. Average height of 6'10". Most of their bench is 6'9" and above. Bean 6'11", their power forward, phenomenal shooter. Um, Brock Miller, he's dealing a little bit of back spasm. It's my favorite team. I'm gonna talk about him all night if I wanted to. But he looked money against Colorado State early. He looked good against San Diego State. That's it. The Aggies coming for what was theirs last year. I kept telling Greg, the reason why I was so upset we didn't go to AC because I had the lines were going to be set perfect. That Utah State was going to make a Sweet 16 run, and we were going to make a shitload of money on the money lines, and nobody would have known, and it was ruined. Next game. Greg, I'm still surprised you're here, by the way. Number 3, Arkansas, going against some toothpaste and Colgate. It's I think Morgan's going against going on the toothpaste, but I'm taking the Razorbacks. Colgate's been in a tournament 3 times and they lost 3 times, but they do cover. They do cover. Both as a 15 and 16 team, they've lost by under 10 points. So I like the idea that they cover, but I'm not picking toothpaste over Razorback. Morgan, are you going to be on Colgate, or are you going to sway your opinion?
I'm taking Colgate.
Tell me why.
I think this is going to be the highest scoring game by far of round 1, or the round of 64. These two teams rank number 2 and number 5 in all of college basketball when scoring. They run, they get up the court. The offensive stats, though, if you dig into them a little bit deeper, now again, lesser competition, but they lean Colgate pretty significantly. It's four more points per game that Colgate scores. Colgate has 2.5 more assists per game. Their effective field goal percentage is 5% higher. Their turnover percentage is 3% lower. And then on the defensive side, the defensive statistics, geez, I can't talk. This defensive statistics lean Colgate a little bit more. I was watching very intently Arkansas during the SEC tournament. Was not impressed, not in the slightest bit. I put a lot of money betting on Arkansas in the SEC tournament. They hurt me a lot. They did nothing to really show me that they were anything great. I think this is a prime spot right here for an upset. I think that this is going to be, because it's going to be such a high scoring game, and it's going to be close the entire way, and this game will be figured out in the last minute. Yes.
Before I kick it to Greg, Colgate's only played 15 games. I think those stats are a little suspect.
Okay, 15 games for me just means fresher legs, in my opinion.
Yeah, there was a lot of breaks in between and playing a bunch of nobodies playing against the power conference. I don't know. I don't see it. I love the Razorbacks. I think that you just bet them in a bad spot. In a spot that they didn't need to win or really even need to be in that game at this point in the season. They already solidified their spot. That's what a lot of conference tournament betting is does that team need to win? But anyway, I'll be on Arkansas. Greggy, are you still here with us? What do you got?
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah, this is a no-doubter for me. It's Arkansas. It's Arkansas for the reason that they played in probably the second best conference in the country this year. And they did a fantastic job in that conference. Colgate, they didn't even play their first game until January 2nd of this year. And those 15 games were all in conference in a 4-team conference consisting of Army, Boston University, and Loyola, Maryland. They played a 4-10 team in the conference finals today.
Yeah. Yep. And they're named after toothpaste.
Yeah. I mean, that is a good point. I'm a Crest type of guy. But a team playing in a 4-team conference and only playing that conference and being 14-1, that is not doing anything for me. Sure, they can score. But they haven't seen a team like Arkansas. Not even close. Not even remotely close. I think this game is a blowout. Arkansas could hit 100 points.
I agree. I think you're overthinking it. I think you're diving too deep into the stats. But listen, you're more than welcome. Be our guest.
It has to be upset somewhere.
We've had a bunch of upsets so far.
Mm-hmm.
Let's move on. Number 7, Florida Gators going against the number 10 Virginia Tech Hokies. Morgan, what the fuck is a Hokie?
A Hokie is someone who makes moonshine up in the mountains.
Oh, really?
I have no idea.
Damn it. I was like, that's pretty cool, man.
That'd be pretty cool. Then. Cool. Find out, man. Let's find out. Because now I type hickey instead of hokey. A Hokie is a Hokie bird, which a Hokie is another word for a turkey.
Ooh, I don't like
That's
that.
different.
I
That's
don't like
different.
that. Turkey
I haven't heard of any
sucks.
turkey teams before.
I will say, I'm going for the coach. Looking at the coaches here, Billy Donovan is not walking through that door for the Florida Gators. Tell you that. And on the VTech side, this is a guy before the game even starts takes the jacket off already, but he always keeps the vest on. Classy.
I respect that.
You gotta respect it. Um, Florida doesn't do anything special. They don't do anything great, but Trey Mann is a baller. You have to admit it. They are playing for what's the guy's name? Johnson. What's his first name, boys? The kid who died on the court. Not
Yeah.
died, but
Yeah, I can't think of his name off the top of my head. Let me look it up.
Kenyon Johnson. He was supposed to be the SEC Player of the Year.
Florida.
If he was on this team, and happy he's healthy.
Keontae Johnson.
Keontae Johnson. The kid was a baller. Kid's a baller, but unfortunately he's not here today. VTech on their best day can play with anybody in the country. They beat Virginia early in the year. They beat Virginia last week. I'm sorry, but they beat Nova in non-conference earlier in the year. Greg, tell me who you on. VTech and Florida.
I'm on VTech. I think they're too good of a team. They're an aggressive team, strong team. They rebound well. They shoot relatively well. Florida's a bit too inconsistent for me. Like you said, if they had their star player, it'd be a completely different story. This probably wouldn't even be the matchup. But we're here today. This is what it is, and I think Virginia Tech will slide by.
I love it. I'm on VTech as well. Morgan, you taking Florida?
I am not. I am on
Cool.
VTech as well. I think that VTech could find their way to the Elite Eight and maybe run into Baylor right there. I think VTech is a very good team. I know, as you guys both have already said and everything. It's just been a lot of a circumstance kind of stuff with them and why they're not up higher. Um, it's just eye test, plain and simple. I think that they're just better team right now.
Love it. Let's move on. Let's move on to the number 2 team in the in this region, the Ohio State Buckeyes. Excuse me. Going against Oral Roberts. More Golden Eagles. There's like 7 teams in this tournament this year named Golden Eagles.
We just need Marquette to get in here.
Fuck Marquette, that trash school. Typical Big East school. Bunch of garbage in that conference.
I
Boring
could have
suits.
pretended that wasn't said.
Yeah, I will. Morgan just got up and left because he's very upset with me. Ohio State's coach wears a very boring suit, nothing special. The Oral Roberts coach, he strikes me as a guy who probably has to work a summer job. Probably does this on the side, does it on the weekends. Ohio State has been choke artists lately. Can't finish a game. Stepping in bounds on a pass in, turning the ball over with 1 second left. They've been bad and down the stretch at the end of games. But Oral Roberts, they score a lot. And Ohio State can't play defense. I just don't see an upset. Talent discrepancy. I'm taking Ohio State, not looking back. Morgan.
Agree. I have VTech taking down Ohio State, so Ohio State's going to just roll through Oral Roberts.
I'm currently at that's the only part of my bracket that's not filled out. So that matchup.
It's a tough one. I hate this entire region, but I think that's going to be a really good game, and I think I agree with you on that. Not filling that part out yet, but Ohio State's an easy pick for sure.
Morgan. I'm sorry, Greg.
Yeah, I'm on Ohio State myself. I think talent prevails. Although Oral Roberts has the leading scorer in the nation in Max Abrams. Kevin O'Banner also shoots. He has 18 points per game as well. So, they can shoot the ball real well. I did watch their game against North Dakota State the other day for the conference title. They did show a lot of inconsistency for the fact that they put up 50 in the first half, and it was a complete polar opposite. Um, like I said, I like Ohio State to roll in this game, but I do want to throw it out here before the number goes even higher. That
Take
the
the over.
it's 154 and a half. You have Ohio State, who already averages 77 points a game, and Oral Roberts, who averages 81 a game.
Take the over.
Take the over. I think
Mhm.
Ohio State puts up at least 80. Oral Roberts could easily put up 70 themselves. Um, I think this may be a closer game than Vegas predicts. It's 16 and a half, but Ohio State it is for me, and get the over while you can at this number.
Yep, I like that. I like that a lot.